Neofinetia falcata is a popular orchid in Japan and increasingly throughout the world. In nature, it is found growing on trees and rocks in places of high humidity and rainfall. For this reason, when growing it in pots, it must have a medium that is perfectly draining, allowing the roots to have continuous air movement between cycles of wet to moist conditions, followed by drier periods. Japanese plantsmen have found that pure high-quality sphagnum moss is the perfect growing medium. This video shows step-by-step how to correctly repot this species to maximize the plant's health and flowering potential. It's late March and this specimen of tension needs a repotting. Always repot Neofinetia when the roots are fully dormant, preferably in late winter. First, take the plant from the pot and carefully remove the old moss. You may need to finagle the roots a bit to loosen things up, but don't worry if a few are broken in the process. How about we speed things up a bit? Next, all the dead parts need to be removed to discourage pathogen infection. Start with the old flower stalks, even though they pose no health threat to the plant. More critically, remove all dead roots, both dried out ones and especially decaying ones. Don't forget the dead leaves either. Sometimes they're tucked away, so look for them carefully. Be sure to use clean, sterilized scissors to prevent disease spread. Roots growing directly out from the center of the plant that cannot be tucked into the moss can be removed if you find them unsightly. Don't worry, as long as the plant is healthy, it will grow new ones. I've rinsed the plant off to further clean it. A couple of the roots are much longer than the others and will not be able to fit into the new pot. So, you guessed it, we need to trim these down to the same length as the others. I use New Zealand moss, AA grade to form the inner ball, and long-fibered quadruple A grade for wrapping the orchid's roots into a firm, strong ball. You will need to wet down the moss so it is flexible. Use a clean container to do this, and remove excess water by gently squeezing the moss. Be careful when teasing the long fibered strands apart so you don't tear them into shorter lengths. On a clean plastic dish, place any ordinary long-necked glass bottle. Wine bottles are perfect for this. Take a large handful of the AA grade moss and place it over the top of the bottle and squeeze it into a ball. Use as much pressure as you can to help keep the ball intact. Carefully place the plant over the moss, spreading the roots around it and tucking them down to make contact with the ball. Again, you will probably have to finagle them a bit, and then with one hand hold them into place. Grab about 5 to 6 strands of the long fibered moss and press them at their midpoint against the ball, covering the orchid's roots. Carefully wrap one end of them around to the other side of the ball, and then repeat with the other half. They should meet on the other side, crossing each other. Be sure to wrap and cross the fibers tightly so the ball stays in place. Repeat this procedure with more strands until a clean, tight ball has been formed. Gently remove the ball from the bottle. Use a standard-sized Neofinetia pot if you have an average-sized plant. These have an inner diameter of 3 inches. Slowly tuck the root ball down into the pot, using just enough force to push it to the bottom. You do not want to crush the inner cavity that was formed by the bottle. Once the ball is in place, turn the pot over, and using your index finger, open the inner cavity as deep and wide as possible. This may take some force, but be careful not to disturb the moss ball too much. This cavity is necessary to keep the orchid's roots well aerated. Solid moss balls are not recommended since they tend to retain too much water. Good news, we're done! The plant can now be returned to its hanger. Be prepared to repot every other year using this technique to keep your Neofinetia collection happy and healthy.